Hello and welcome to Sam's on Wrestling.
You nearly made.
Whenever they do that, it reminds me of The Simpsons when they do the B sharps and they go the B sharps, and then Chief Wiggum's like the B sharps. Ken ask a guy for trying. We're all under arrest. That's what I think of when I think of the shit doing that. Anyway, hi, welcome to Count Out. This is our top 10 list series. Not the, stop saying it, not the top 10 list, our. This is what we personally like, because we want you to give your personal as well. But everyone keeps telling you what the top 10 is. What do you actually think? What did you connect with the best? That's what we're looking at. So today we're looking at a really weird, interesting one. We're looking at moments, our top 10 best moments from The Shield. But they don't have to be as The Shield. It can be Seth Rollins moments, Dean Ambrose, John Moxley moments, Roman Reigns moments. So, or as a Shield's collector. So literally the three members. What are Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, John Moxley's, and Seth Rollins' best moments? That's literally what we are going for today. I am Sam, and I am joined by the babiest of baby Sams.
I am a fetus. It's
true. This really is you. Shield.
This is my
This is
area,
all you.
yeah. And you know what? I'm going to go with a last minute change to my number 10.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're going to look forward to that. But before we get to number 10, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please comment what your top 10 favourite Shield member moments are. And let's get to it. Sam, your number 10. I'll start with mine because, I want to know what this change is. I've only got one bloodline thing on because most of the things that Roman does are things that happened around, okay? And they've all been amazing, but things like The Rock and Cody and Sami Zayn and all this lot. So, just pointing out, I think the bloodline is incredible. This is my only bloodline thing. And I've gone for the moment, because it's hard, that it's awesome as a whole, but picking an individual moment.
And a lot of them aren't about what Roman does.
Yeah.
It's stuff that happens.
So, things that missed my list was the Roman J moment in Hell in a Cell I Quit. I like that moment. The reason it's not on my list is I wasn't watching. So I watched it in post, so that feeling didn't come because I stopped watching in COVID. And that was great. Roman's return as the heel, I haven't got either. That's also great. But I've gone with a Sami Zayn moment.
Have you?
Yes. He's not feeling very oozy. And the thing that I've gone with, that's not Sami Zayn. The specific thing is Roman breaking.
Yeah.
That's what I've gone with, is Roman playing this Godfather character. I've gone with a thing that's nothing to do with it. It's just that moment just made me smile so much because it showed people were having fun and WWE hadn't been fun for a long time. Sami Zayn was amazing. It worked so well in the Bloodline. And Roman's just smile. And I could have gone with the other one as well when he cracked him up on the sofa as well.
Yeah.
Both of those moments because it really just gave something more to Roman, and I loved that moment. I wanted a bloodline thing.
Yeah, and also it just made the group look so human. And Roman was so... You've got another side to Roman as well, not just the heel persona, but he also could do comedy. I think that group was probably the best comedy dynamic since Stone Cold and Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's not... my brain goes to Eddie Guerrero, maybe.
Well, did he have a dynamic with someone who was just really funny?
Which
is a hell of a compliment, so I'd absolutely...
Edge and Christian? With Kurt Angle, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah. But do you know what? You're absolutely right. What's your number 10, Sam?
So, originally, I'd gone with Roman winning at Mania 37 against Edge and Bryan. Because I didn't really like the Brock one, but just his run of Manias winning.
It's a good match.
As a dominant champion. Amazing
match. Stack'em, whatever it was. Yeah.
Great finish. And it was the first time we'd had him win the main event as a heel. And that was a real turning point.
And that people liked.
That actually established him as a really dominant champion, and it set the tone. But I've binned it.
Oh, okay.
Because you mentioned John Moxley, and I've gone with his debut in AEW.
Okay.
That was a massive, massive moment. We were watching at the time, and we were going crazy, and it really felt like that kicked off AEW now, those first 2 years when they were really hot. And it was really exciting to see him there. We had the whole brawl with Kenny Omega that felt like something really special.
That Dirty Deeds on top of the poker chips.
Yeah,
awesome. That's a great visual.
Yeah, so as a moment, I thought, you know what, John Moxley, that was amazing. Number 10.
What is my number 9? Our number 9 entrance. Sam, where have you gone with number 9?
So with this one, I've got WrestleMania 40.
Okay.
Roman hit Seth with a chair.
I haven't got this on my list.
I love that moment.
Yeah, I love that moment as well. I do.
It just harkens back to all of the story between Roman and Seth, and to an extent Dean as well with the Shield. And it's such a great piece of character work because that's the reason he didn't win. Because instead of hitting Cody, he had to take that vengeance on Seth and never let it go.
They need a WrestleMania match.
100%.
They desperately need a WrestleMania 100%. Match.
100%.
We are back from the sneeze break.
Thank you, Sam, for editing that out in the future. So even just him coming out as the Shield music, for a second, I thought Dean was coming.
Yeah,
and it
I know
makes
you
no
did.
sense. Because,
I felt like everybody did, and I felt like I was the only person in the entire world who's watching and went, it's going to be Seth and Shield.
Because it was the madness of everyone else coming out. It was such a crazy match. You just thought it could happen, and I just went, what? We didn't, but it was amazing.
It's not on my list. It's my 11th. Yeah. I love that moment. I think because there's so much else going on, as much as that's a cool moment, it kind of gets... It's not lost. That's not the problem. It's not been followed up properly yet for me to really, really, really go, like, that's a top moment. But it easily could have been 2, 3, 4. It really could. My number 9 is very similar. It's Seth returning and pedigreeing Roman Reigns.
I haven't not thought of that.
I thought there's going to be a lot that we missed because this is 12 years of 3 different wrestlers as a group of things. And that pop for Seth return after his knee injury was monstrous.
Amazing.
And everyone wanted to be a babyface. Everyone thought he was being a babyface because everyone hated Roman Reigns. And it turns out he was still a heel. And I was like, no. Being a babyface. But they went... And it was a pedigree as well, which was just kind of, set up feuds for later on as well. Yeah. That moment was great. It was great. Was that was the one before Money in the Bank? My brain's telling me.
Yes, it was Extreme Rules.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
beat Styles.
Yes, that's when Roman beat Styles for the
second time.
Second time, yeah, because he had him at the WrestleMania. Just so many
memory.
Jesus,
2016.
Oh man, all over. It's just a blur. It's just a blur. Yeah. That moment was great for me. It was great to see Seth back. And for a brief little moment, he was the babyface we wanted him to be.
Yeah. I went so mental on that. Should be on my list. I forgot about it, but I can't put it on now because I'd have to shuffle things down. Yeah. So it's not on there, but it should be.
There's a lot of damn.
Yeah.
Number 8, Sam. What's your number 8?
So my number 8 is actually kind of similar to my number 9, but Seth coming out in Shield gear at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, that was at the top.
His
only ever loss as the champion in his 3-year reign.
And I like that it's to Seth, and it was DQ.
It works.
Yeah. It was brilliant. I remember we were watching it, I think.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we watched that together. Yeah.
He came out, and you know what sells it? It's not just that, it's Roman's reaction. Sold it
Roman,
so well.
I don't know if Roman went off and did acting classes, like when he was off with leukemia or when he was off with when the COVID and he had that break. I don't know if he was off and did acting classes or whatever, but his acting ability has just gone through the roof.
You see like 3 different emotions in like a second with that entrance. He's like, what? Oh, he's doing this. You know?
Yeah.
It's spectacular. And that sells it because...
And the crowd went with it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Love that moment.
Oh, it was great. I've got a match.
Okay.
And I've got a Shield match.
Have you now?
I actually have a Shield in the Shield section. It's the Shield versus the Wyatts.
Oh! I've done it again!
I feel like I'm reminding you of how... You just got so many Shield, but you don't remember anything that happened pre-2022, do you?
Apparently not.
That match is one of the greatest 6-man tag team matches of all time. Someone needs to explain to me why it wasn't at WrestleMania. I still don't know why it was at the Elimination Chamber. The crowd went mental. They lost that match, which still boggles my mind because of they then beat Evolution for 2 straight pay-per-views and then broke up when they shouldn't have broke up. I think they could have still done the same thing just a little bit further along, but at the same time it was at the right time because we weren't expecting it. But that match, everyone wanted.
Yeah.
And when they booked it, we were like, this is going to be great. Doesn't matter if it's bad, it'd still be great. It was that type of thing.
It's one of those things you didn't even need to do much booking. You just put them in a ring and you let the magic happen. When they had that face-off where they were on each side of the ring,
the crowd,
you hadn't felt that electricity for a long, long time. We both loved both those factions, and it was magic.
Can we talk about 2 things in that match I want to talk about, though? Well, 2 performances. First of all, Luke Harper was... unbelievable in that match. We miss you. We absolutely miss you. You're one of the best big men of the modern era.
Oh, yeah.
But Seth Rollins is one of the best workers I've ever seen. And in that match, I don't understand how he didn't get tired.
Yeah.
Watching him do how many...
Flipped out that German suplex from the top rope.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
But how many times was he doing, like, dives through the ring, and then he started. Then he was the one who had to sell. Unbelievable performance. That I still think is the best Shield match.
I'd agree. Yeah.
We have our number 7 moment, baby Sam. Have you forgotten anything else?
Well, probably. This one's going to surprise you. You
Okay.
probably won't have this on your list.
Right.
I don't think it'd be on many people's. It's the Shield interrupting the Undertaker the night after WrestleMania.
Oh, yes.
After 29.
Undertaker had a match with Dean Ambrose, didn't they, at one point?
Yeah. I'm not really taking into account that because they injured him at the end, didn't they?
Yeah.
But it's that moment. So he has beaten Punk, and he's basically just dedicated to Ball Bearer, and then you suddenly just hear Sierra, and they come out, and you suddenly go, "Oh, this is like," because you think the Undertaker's in trouble. That's how over they were.
And they were still quite new at that point.
They were, and they just won against Orton, Big Show, and Shane.
Big Show technically turning
heel.
Technically.
Yeah.
I think he went in as a heel in the babyface team, got annoyed that they didn't tag him in, and he punched them.
I don't know or care, to be honest.
The Big Show's career.
Yeah. But the magic of that, I just thought, wow, like, there's something about that confrontation that they were now being treated on that level.
Yeah.
That level, and suddenly the Undertaker is like being surrounded, and the Undertaker was like, that was 21-0.
If you ever want to get a person over, have them beat up the Undertaker. There's very few people who failed in that. Kozlov being one, I'd say, but even Khali got over.
I love that moment, and the Undertaker being in trouble, and Team Hell No having to come out and save him, but the Shield being that big of a deal.
Yeah,
I will watch that on YouTube. I love that.
It's not on my list. Forgot about it. Love that moment, but I don't think it'd make my 10.
That's
to be honest. I reckon you've got this higher because this is definitely going to be on your list.
Good.
So you can be quiet because I'm pretty certain this will be on your list. The night all 3 Shield members were the WWE champion. The reason I've got it low, just so you know, because it's a great moment, I'll get to why I like it, is because it meant that Seth had a nothing title reign, and Dean's title reign sucked. And quite frankly, the cash-in also technically sucked, if we're going on technicalities. So when I say sucked, it was like, the same night again. Like, imagine Dean had held it for a bit. It's the fact that it was the same night, and we'd just done same night, a few other times recently, and it's been done since. And we also, Seth wasn't the babyface when we wanted him to do the babyface. I think if they'd done the flip round, Dean Ambrose could have turned heel, which would have been really cool because he'd been kind of a floundering babyface in this point. But at the same time, the pop for Seth winning, the pop for Dean cashing in, knowing we were going to set up potentially Dean and Seth. Oh, we didn't because they did a brand split immediately. I think this is great. Having them all 3 winning the title, I think they did it just so they could say that they all 3 won it. In reality, but it's still a great moment. I really enjoyed that, and I liked the booking of it.
I will talk about this later. So, do you want me to give you counterpoints now? Or
No. It's fine.
Because I have a lot of counterpoints to
I will point out at this point. I think there's something that we have not put on our list. I'm pretty certain it's not on your list. They had a triple threat match once.
Yeah.
And no one cared.
I thought about it, but
no one cared.
We've got this night.
This night feels like what it should have been that night almost.
Yes. Well, I mean, Roman wasn't there for the build. So that hurt.
Nobody got ill?
No, it was
when he got suspended.
He got suspended, and he came back on the night of Battleground, I think it was.
Yeah, why Battleground?
Yeah. And
why not SummerSlam?
Yeah,
why not WrestleMania?
It didn't feel like it did, and it just felt, we're doing the brand split.
We need to get it done.
Just do it now.
We need to get it done, yeah.
And yeah, that's why it wasn't treated as a big deal, really.
Fair enough. We are now reaching nearly the halfway point. We're at our number 6, Sam. You're number 6.
So this is my Bloodline one. I'm going with the Tribal Court segment.
That's interesting because I would put that down to Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn.
I think Roman Reigns massively sold it by being that authoritative figure. Yeah, no. He had that presence and made it, because without Roman Reigns, none of it works because they're all trying to persuade him. And I absolutely love that segment. It's not just about Roman Reigns, of course, but
the aura of him in the room. Doesn't talk. And he's got the aura.
And it's just, that he is the anchor for all of the stakes and the drama for it. And I love that. And the ending of it as well.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Just fantastic.
It's not in mine because I don't put it down as a Roman Reigns. I put him 4th. Because I think Jay's phenomenal in that. I think Paul Heyman's phenomenal. Sami Zayn's just acting ability. So I've got Roman, it's not really his moment. But anything that happens bloodline-wise is down to Roman Reigns. So I think that's why we only included kind of one. We kind of talked about it, going... We say generic bloodline, but then you do that, you've just essentially done 3 years and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, and I just go, well, with that moment, that's something that he has built around him. And I just think that was such a triumphant moment of just such intricate, well done
It felt the same.
characters.
What floor is the best floor on the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
No, it's the whole thing.
Yeah,
It's the whole
agreed.
building. Yeah. My number 6, however, Sam, is one you've already mentioned. I've got it much higher.
Go on.
It's John Moxley's debut for AEW. So we were done with WWE. We were done. We'd had Braun Roman ruined by Brock not long either before or after in the Hell in a Cell, and just matches weren't working. Roman wasn't working, and we were excited for AEW. It's sad that it's now kind of flip flopped a little bit. We watched AEW religiously for that first 2 years. COVID kind of killed us both on both wrestling full stop, which is fair. And we struggled to get back into it. We've been to both Wembleys. We've really enjoyed both Wembleys, but that night, it felt like the changing of a guard was happening, and it felt like a wave. And the first person to properly defect, because I know Pac had gone over, and we know we got Jericho technically, but that Dean Ambrose's contract had run out so close. It was like weeks prior. Yeah. And you didn't believe he was leaving. I told you he'd gone. You didn't believe me. And I went, no, he's gone. And that night, he looked ready to go. And I'm not a massive fan of John Moxley, particularly his AEW run. I just don't like what he's done. He's enjoying himself, but it doesn't work for me. I can't connect to it.
Bleeding.
But it's over the top bleeding.
That's
as
what
well.
I mean.
I still enjoy his promos, but his promos could be better as well than the promos I expected. But that opening 2 years of Moxley was amazing, and that night it just felt special. We were there. There was 4 of us. Watching it at home. We don't watch that much wrestling as a large group. We've never really done that much. We do a little bit, me and you now, especially for this channel. But that night just was special.
It was special because it was so new and we hadn't seen anything
we were ready.
Like that as a second wrestling promotion before. We never
seen
TNA Ring of Honor.
I did TNA 2005, 2007 when WWE started going really bad in TNA. But TNA was back crap. Crazy that it was fun, but you weren't there going, I'm going to support this because I had to support a Reverse Battle Royal. And I can't do that. But this felt proper because the matches on that night also. And the other one as well, the All In show. Which is
fantastic.
Oh, well, great. Yeah. Number 5. Sam, number 5.
Now, you've got to just take this one as an individual moment and not think about anything that happened after this.
No, don't you dare do the Dean Ambrose on the leukemia night.
Dean Ambrose.
No!
Betrayed Seth Rollins. No. You forget how visceral that was.
I hated it.
Did you?
Hated it.
I loved it.
Hated it.
I loved it. And
immediately hated it.
So, why did you hate it?
It was something real.
Yeah.
And it's someone who potentially we all thought could potentially die because everyone hears leukemia and everyone freaks out.
Yeah.
For that to happen, it was the wrong time. Don't get me wrong; it gets great heel heat and all that lot, but they didn't follow it up with the same heel. And you go, don't think about what happens. And I agree. No, if you'd done it the week after, I think it would have got just as big a pop because you could have done a tag team match and were doing it for Roman, and then it would have been fine. But the same night, I actually fought it. I genuinely would put this in a disgusting tactic.
Really?
If when we do the brackets of the biggest disgusting tactics done by wrestling or WWE, this will be, I think, on the list because I hated it. But your list. Why do you like it?
What I would say is they absolutely got permission to do it. Roman
yes,
was
of course.
fine with
yes,
it.
of course.
And what I'm saying in terms of forget what happened after, I'm not about the storyline.
Oh, it was awful. Every match they had was terrible.
It was abhorrent. Well, Dean's character. We have to forget about that and just look at the night.
People smell.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You smell.
Like, it could have been such an amazing storyline.
Oh, God. Because imagine if he'd been John Moxley in that story.
You could have told a wonderful storyline about grief and how that was affecting Moxley with Roman going, and Roman was what was holding the Shield together, etc.
We'll talk about that moment, though.
That moment, I think it was fantastic to do it then. He was brave to do it, and I respected that.
I'll give him brave.
It was brave. And you know what? You have to actually take it apart and go, Roman's situation obviously was horrible and serious and worrying, but this is fiction. And you have to draw that line. They're not saying anything bad about Roman. That's been handled tastefully, and this is a storyline now. We're using the Roman thing.
Do you know where I put it in the brackets of? And you won't know about this, but they did an Eddie Guerrero appreciation night around Christmas time, and Randy Orton crashes Undertaker on the back of the lowrider into it, and I'm like, you have just used the legacy.
Yes.
So that's sort of the neck of woods I put it.
I mean, that's different.
I understand it, and the moment was like everyone didn't know what to think.
Crazy.
But I actually watched it at the time and just went, no, don't like it.
To me, the Eddie thing, that is physically disrespecting the Guerrero. And to be honest, Eddie probably would have been okay with it, but it is on distasteful level. But that wasn't anything technically specifically aimed at Roman Reigns. It was Dean and Seth, and I think it was so dramatic and visceral.
I also personally think Roman should have closed the night, but they wanted to do the thing, but that's me anyway. Yeah. My number 5, completely on the complete flip side.
Go on.
Oh, I love his entrance.
You're just talking about his entrance.
So, obviously I have to pick a specific moment. My brain, if it's getting it the right one, it's SummerSlam, and the crowd just not stopping. I could be wrong, it's definitely an arena show. And I think he's taken on Riddle. And that just almost turns him babyface, because that entrance, I believe genuinely, especially in this modern era of terrible entrances, terrible music, is one of the best entrances of the modern era. I want to go and watch it live so I can join in. I love that entrance. I love that moment where everyone kind of joined in, and they, because it wasn't meant to be that, they took it and ran. So I could say every one of them, because every one I enjoy. I always actually stop to watch the Seth and join in. A 32-year-old man joining in. I love his entrance.
I can absolutely understand that. I haven't got it on mine, but it is one of the best entrances going.
That's how high I've got it. I love it that much.
I can understand that.
It's better than John Moxley's debut at AEW.
Apparently. A business change, an industry changing moment. Seth doing that.
That's all I need. Number 4, Sam. Number 4.
What I've gone with, actually, in contrast to my number 5, is Dean and Seth reuniting. That moment where they did the...
Oh, was that when Dean was really, really struggling and he was like almost like... and then he just did it? Are you talking about after the leukemia?
No, so this is after phase, so this is the first one. So this is before leukemia. This is, yes.
Yeah.
When they... Yeah, because I thought the other one was a bit...
Well, they wanted to go, we need to get as much out of Shield before he leaves.
Yes. That one was actually quite a well-told story. I just remember the pop, because it was the first time that either, that those two had actually come together again. And I can't remember all the story. I am just thinking about when they did that.
Yeah.
And the crowd went mental.
Especially with... my brain's telling me that Dean really struggled to do it. It was like...
He did, yeah. So it took a while. The good thing is it was built...
It reminded me of when Kane and Bryan did a hug.
Yeah.
I haven't got that moment. It wouldn't have made my top 10 anyway. But you're absolutely right. I love that moment. I do. It was great to see them back again. Yeah. But every time, you always get diminishing returns.
Yes.
And that's probably why I've forgotten about it, because it's like Shield again.
But that was the first time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I've got a match at number 4.
Go on.
WrestleMania 34. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, The Miz.
Loved it.
I think is one of the greatest, at least at WrestleMania, intercontinental matches. And if I'm being perfectly honest, it's all Seth Rollins. Like, Finn and Miz... I think it's their best matches, both of them. Finn especially. I'm very critical of Finn's in-ring work in WWE. But I think this is his best match. And that match flies. Because outside of Triple H and Ronda and all that stuff, this pay-per-view is not great.
Started so well.
But that match, hot. Everyone was so hot.
Yeah.
And it's the time that Seth's babyface was working.
Yeah.
He was briefly working.
Because he had that gauntlet match.
Yes,
that got him
that's
so over.
Exactly what it was. He was there because he was working. He was in-ring work. He didn't do a character. He was just kind of being him. And then the Intercontinental reign is probably, I think, his best babyface work. Yeah. Because he did matches with Dolph and they ruined it in an Iron Man 10, 9, shut But that Intercontinental match specifically, it was great. And the camera work in that was great. It's probably Kevin Dunn's best camera work of his last times in WWE. Because I remember they had Seth coming in out of the off-camera shot with a frog splash. And, great match. I'm really glad they put the IC title on him, because it actually made the IC title slightly important, because it gone a bit downhill.
Yeah.
Number 3, Sam.
So this is where I have them all holding the title.
So you've got much higher than me.
I think it was brilliant. So you, if I can recall, you were talking about the Dean's title reign wasn't great. I just think you've got to take it in the moment as well.
But I didn't like the fact he cashed in on the same night, because Kane had just done it.
He said just did it. It was 6 years before.
Yeah, but again, you know me, I don't like repeats things, because I'll also point out that either that year or the year after, I generally can't remember, I apologise, Bailey also then did it.
That was 2019.
Yes, so it wasn't long.
But you can't...
No, I know. But my brain is just gone like that.
I get it. But I think you have to look at it at the moment. And also, it's exactly what Dean Ambrose would do.
Yes,
you have to look at it and exactly what Kane would do. So it made sense for the characters.
It kept the story going of Dean said he was going to stop Seth from winning the title.
Exactly.
and the WrestleMania.
Exactly,
triumph.
it was perfect, and it's the perfect revenge because of Seth obviously cashing on Roman really back.
I just wish they followed it.
No, I get it, but you have to look at the
No,
moment.
I know. I sit there just so gutted. Like, could you imagine if those two then actually had a proper match?
But
the worst thing is they had a Hell in a Cell 2 years prior anyway. You'd done all the gimmicks with the two anyway.
No, I get it, but it's this moment. You have Roman losing it to Seth clean. The pop is massive. No one thought Seth would win clean at all.
No.
And Seth has and you said Seth gets a nothing reign, but I think it's poetic justice.
I get that
because
too.
Seth had wanted to win back what he never lost for ages and ages. It meant massive, meant a lot to him as a character. And Dean to come in and swoop in, the ultimate revenge for what Seth did to them, to come in from behind and take it from him, and that was Dean winning his first title. People went mental for that.
They did.
People wanted
that. They popped for Dean.
It was massive.
I think I've got a prejudice for Money in the Bank cash-ins on new champions.
I like it.
I did, but they've done it that many times that there's so many people who've had it for 5 minutes. You think about how many people you've got. Big Show had it for 45 seconds.
He didn't need to win that
Roman
match.
Reigns got cashed in. He had it for 5 minutes. Yeah. All these people. Drew. Brian. Yeah, it's that. I think the fact that that's been done, that's another thing that's been done that many times, and it had been done quite a lot beforehand.
No.
Maybe why again I got really annoyed with it.
But I just liked it.
It's on my list.
I know it's on your list.
On my list.
I know, but I think it should be higher.
My number 3 actually is more Bloodline. I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Now this moment you could actually put with somebody else, but I'm actually going to go with it's kind of how the person sold it. It's Brock Lesnar with a tractor lifting the ring and Roman being in the ring going flying out. As much as that you could put that as a Brock moment, Roman goes flying.
Yeah.
And I'm actually kind of putting the whole match on there because I'm actually going to say this now. Roman and Brock don't work. Stop it. Don't ever do it again. Don't ever do it. If he comes, don't. Stop it.
31 though.
No, that didn't work either. No, that only worked because Roman was getting beaten up, and because everyone was going into that match not happy with that match, and they did the best they could. That last match, is the best match they've ever had, and that's what the matches should have been. And that moment with the tractor will live in memory forever. Because I think I've always said to you, why has no one ever tipped the ring? I've said it for years before you, and then finally to watch someone physically lift the ring and throw them out, I was like, that's it. That's the moment. There it is.
No,
I loved it.
I can't disagree with it. I wouldn't say it's a Shield thing.
Roman,
I know Roman's in it.
It's the match. I'm saying the match.
Yeah.
It's the Roman Brock it's their best match.
It's fair
because they've seen it that many times that I hated it. That I would put it high because that moment just lives in my memory and he's in the match. It's the match. So I'm not saying that moment. It's the match. But that's the moment I remember. And the fact that it's their best match after having at least 7, 8 that are all
stinkers,
terrible.
Yeah,
with one half decent one technically saved. I think if the WrestleMania 31 had actually ended with somebody winning, I don't think anyone would have been happy.
I might get to that later.
I think we're both going to get to that.
Yeah.
Right, we're down to number 2, and let's be honest, I'm kind of certain that these are going to be the same. Sam, you're number 2.
So it's hard to look past the following 2. Yeah, it's that, isn't it?
It's the Shield betrayal.
It's for any Game of Thrones fans. It's the Red Wedding of
WWE. It really is. It really is.
It was
we
so
were
shocking.
So gutted.
Yeah, but you know what? You said earlier it was too early.
No. I believe it was too early because I believe there was still more you could have got out of it. Out of those as a babyface, because they've been babyface for 3 months, and I think we could have got more out of them as a babyface, and then I think the turn could have actually been even more. Why this worked is because it was so unexpected. They just defeated Evolution. The storyline that came after it was awful, and I think that does also live in my memory as well. The fact like, why would you join Triple H? I think that's my biggest problem. I think if they'd had a story around them, maybe winning the title or not title or something like that, they maybe could have made it one of the greatest thing ever. But because it came out of absolutely nowhere, and we were just like, no.
Do you remember that guy in the crowd who was yelling no as he was doing it? It was perfect. I think because it was early, it was perfect. Sure, there's more you can get out of them, but you have to end it with people wanting more. That's why people wanted them to get back together when they did. I think it worked perfectly. It was a rare example at that time of them being ahead of the game.
Do you think that was their original booking or Vince's on-the-fly booking? What do you think?
I think it could well have been on the fly.
Okay.
Because I know that I think they got told on the day the Shield got told on the day that it was happening.
Looked like it kind of showed because it's really random.
I think it was one of those that really worked. Seth selling out and just going, actually, no, I'm going to join the Authority.
It's Dean's face.
Yeah.
Dean's face is what John's just going.
So well. It was heartbreaking.
He didn't know what to do. He's a better actor. That's why he should do more actual storyline type things. He's a really good actor. Yeah. Roman sells that amazing, by the way. Seth having to recreate that at Mania 40 must be really difficult because it's such an amazing...
He's also on one leg at that time as well.
He resold it again with the Sammy turning on him. Yes, he did it exactly perfectly. It's like, it's a great moment. It's both on number 2s. Yeah. Should we go to the last one? So, Sam, my number 1 moment is Seth winning the United States Championship.
I've got Suffering Succotash.
Yes, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So should we just quickly talk about Seth Rollins' cash-in at number 1 and then move on?
Yeah.
The first cash-in at WrestleMania. We weren't ready for it.
No.
That was the thing. Anyone who predicted it would happen, I don't think they fully believed it. I don't think they fully thought it was going to happen at WrestleMania. I think they definitely didn't think it was going to happen after Randy beat him earlier in the night. And I think the fact that the match went... I think the fact that they did it in the match. So even the people who thought it was going to happen were still tricked because it's the first cash-in that ever happened during a match. Joining the match, which technically Seth is stupid.
It works.
But that moment, everyone knew what was about to happen, and Roman Reigns' family are furious because they're there. They think he's going to win the title, and you got like Seeker's like, I came to watch my boy, he's going to win. And Seth like...
Legendary.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely... It's the timing, because even the smart fans are going... So, say if Roman won, people hate it, but people are kind of thinking, oh, is Seth going to come out? Are they going to do something? No one in that stadium is thinking, is Seth going to come out? Because they're not looking at the stage. People are distracted because the match is surprisingly good, and people are into this match at the time. No one is thinking, even the smartest of smart fans is thinking about the ramp or Seth coming down whatsoever. And he comes down and everyone's going, what?
Remember JBL's call? What the hell? Really good, Gibbles. Really good, that one, because that worked, because everyone else went, what the hell?
Brilliant. And he comes down, and because it's a triple threat, it's
way dynamic.
More tension. There's way more tension because even...
And he didn't win it straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
He started failing.
There's tension because even though, most cash-ins are one guy who's fresh on one vulnerable opponent and they've got it in the bag. But now you're thinking, well, even if he's going for Lesnar, Reigns is there and he could come and you've got the tension of something could happen, and it's so like, what's going on? And the finish is great. Because Lesnar looks like a beast and picks him up anyway. Reigns spears him.
Oh, it hurt. That had to hurt.
That was a big spear.
You can't take the bump properly. Yeah. Well done, Brock, because you're taking that like a champ. Yeah. That hurt.
And then Seth just goes bang, curb
on the right person.
Yeah.
On the right person.
Pins, and it's just, and the heist of the century. It's legendary.
It made a WrestleMania that every single person went into with no interest, and it was a great Mania, and then they ended it as a great Mania, and they took it from what would have been a very high Mania anyway to up there with some of the very best. And Seth is one of the main parts of that for 2 reasons. One, the RKO cell nearly made my list, just the RKO cell, because it's awesome, and it's all Seth. Apparently they practiced that and never got it right.
No.
and
I absolutely respect the guts to go and do that and try, and they nailed it because it's Randy Orton and Seth Rollins.
But Seth, cashing in, Money in the Bank is our number 1 Shield member moment. What are your top 10 Shield member moments? Please let us know in the comments provided.
So generously
providing comments for you. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And we will see you with our count out next time. Au revoir, Sam. Oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah.